Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
I want you to mull this over just a little bit. I think it's very true. Only in America are we, the legal citizens, labeled as racists and Nazis, but illegal aliens are called dreamers. Think about that. Here comes Kate Smith, and God Bless America, followed by, come on, patriots, be proud of this country and our flag and this great, great nation. Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning. And a good morning to you. And, oh, look outside. Blue sky, sunshine. I'm loving it. Good morning, Zeb at the Ranch. I'm Zeb Bell with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you with a great big spring tire sale going on right now. Stop in. And along with some of our great advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. Woo, helping you get back to being you. Right now, let's go to the phone line and have our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning.
Good morning. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I know who this is, and thank you, my dear friend that I love to kid with and joke with. God bless you for doing the pledge this morning. We'll see you at Lunch Bunch.
Thank you, and we will see you there.
All right, my friend. Thank you very much. Just a lot of nice people at Lunch Bunch, and there's one of them. Good morning, everybody, and right now we're going to jump right into the weather. We've got a lot of things to take care of this morning. News. And we want to talk to you right now about the K&R Rental. Hello, Roger. They're over there. They opened the doors. I believe they're starting to open up again in the morning at 7 o'clock. Absolutely to better serve you right on the Burley-Paul Highway with the best of tools and equipment for any and all projects that you've got for this springtime. Yeah, I'm telling you, if you don't know what you need, call them and ask them and tell them and explain the project. They can help. They will help at K&R Rental. The number to call, 678-3122. And right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Going to be a nice day for today and tomorrow. By the weekend, a little bit wet. Here's a look at your weather forecast. Sunny skies is what we're expecting. Slightly breezy winds out of the southwest at about 5 miles an hour. Expecting a high of 66. Tonight, mostly clear. Still a little bit breezy with a low 43. Tomorrow, beautiful day. Sunny skies, high of 77, winds out of the east-southeast at about 10 miles an hour. Gusts as high as 21 miles an hour. By Friday night, looks like some clouds are going to be rolling into the valley. Expecting a low of 48. And then by Saturday, we do have a slight chance of afternoon rain showers and thunderstorms, partly sunny sky with a high of 64, wind gusts as high as 22 miles an hour. Then for Sunday, 40% chance of showers, mostly cloudy, and a high of 60. That's a look at your weather forecast for Zeb.
Oh, thank you, Gina, and brought to you this hour by our friends at K&R Rental at 256 South, 600 West of Hayburn, right there on the Burley-Paul Highway. K&R Rental, the number to call, 678-3122. Caller, you're going to have to wait a minute. Hold on, because right now, Merv May, come on in here.
All right, it gets at a steer calves. They're here to get $1.31 $1.5.
No, that's the chant of the world's best auctioneer, Merv May, over at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley. The sale that works for you. Merv May, Cade Rogge, Lance Udy, and the number to call for cattle consignments and sale information, 678-9411. Don't forget, starting time this morning, 10:30 a.m. Lots of butcher cows coming in there this morning from Acme Dairy and Antelope Hills Dairy, Funk Dairy, and I'll tell you what, they're going to have a really good trailer line run. Lots and lots of cattle coming in, and we want you to be there at 10:30 this morning for the Burley Livestock Sale Yard weekly sale, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley, 678-9411. Merv, sell those steers.
All right, it gets at a steer calves. They're here to get $1.31 $1.5, 31 $1.5, 32 2.5, 3 $1.5, 134 4 $1.5, 5 $1.5, 135 50 135 $1.5, selling $1.35. Zeb Bell gets bottom again.
I appreciate it. Hey, thank you very much. We're going to take that call momentarily. I want to remind everybody, too, about Ramsey Heating and Electric. We're going to have Reed on with us later on this morning, and they're located at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. The number to call, 678-0459. They open the doors early in the morning at 7:30, and they stay open till 5 on Monday through Friday. Stop in, all your heating, cooling, and electrical needs right there at Ramsey Heating and Electric, along with the most efficient and knowledgeable people for over 6 decades serving you at Ramsey Heating and Electric. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb.
Yeah, go ahead, Rod.
Okay, yeah, I got a bone to pick with some of the drivers out there on the road. They need to hang up their phones and concentrate on the road. I've seen a couple of cases yesterday on the way home where people almost got wiped out because they were talking on the phone or texting instead of paying attention to the road ahead of them.
Oh, my. I could not agree with you more. My cell phone is so it's hands-free. I don't have to use anything. And I followed a lady. I'm going to quickly do this, Rod, because I got a lot of stories to get into this morning. But I followed a lady from Kimberly to Hanson yesterday that absolutely spent more time on the center line or over the other lane, more so than she did her own, and I honestly thought she was going to have a head-on. I can't believe the stupidity of some of these people.
Exactly. So basically what I'm wanting to say to everyone that's driving out there, hang up your darn phone, turn it off, and drive.
Well, I appreciate it, Rod, and everybody's got an axe to grind about various subjects, but I'll tell you what, this woman that I followed yesterday, she was completely absorbed in a conversation that took her mind off of anything, and I know what you're talking about. Thank you much. Appreciate it. All right, sir.
Lunch bunch day.
Calls are, yes, lunch bunch day, and I'm leading right into that, as a matter of fact, by talking about Denny's restaurant. We're all going to be over there at 11:30 for lunch bunch. Zeb's lunch bunch at Denny's restaurant, America's Diner, 611 North Overland in Burley, and they've got another location, great location, at 291 Pole Line Road in Twin Falls. We gather there and have lunch and a lot of fun and give away a lot of door prizes from Walmart, Smith's Foods, Hanson Mortuary, Stokes Grocery, Doug Martin, Denny's. Please be there today at 11:30 at a great place for breakfast, lunch, and dinner anytime, all the time. Denny's Restaurant, 611 North Overland in Burley. My wife just handed me a note. Let me see. I got to read this. Saturday, this coming Saturday is Jerry Voss's birthday. And Sunday is Merle Denagle's birthday. So, happy birthday to y'all. Happy birthday to y'all. There you go. Have a great day. We'll see him probably at Lunch Bunch, too. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Got to get this in real quick. Then we'll start talking about the Mueller report. Benefit dinner for J.R. Strunk is going to be this Saturday, April 20th, at the Rupert Senior Center, 702 11th Street in Rupert. And I've had a lot of people call me on my cell phone, which you can call me on my cell phone anytime out of the program. 312-2976. And wanted more information. Well, later on this morning, we're going to be talking to Donna Mass. She's going to give us all the particulars again. It's going to be from 4 to 6 p.m. this Saturday at the Rupert Senior Center. J.R. Strunk has done so much for other people. It's about high time that we said thank you and did something for him. That's coming up on Saturday. Also, quickly, I want to remind you about Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. I am going to be there. I've got to leave Lunch Bunch and skedaddle and get over to Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. To the Lunch Bunchers, if I seem rude, if I whoop out the door, it's because I have to get over there. And Nick Greenwell and all the physical therapists are going to be helping me with my aching and my paining and make me better. And they have been, I'll tell you. They're located at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation with the number to call. Make an appointment. Let them help you get back to being you. 678-1191. You call them today. Okay. About 45 minutes ago, I sat there glued to the television to watch Attorney General William Barr open up the file and say the final conclusions. And I want to say something right up front. And for you out there that are, oh, well, yeah, they tried to cover this up. Oh, well, yeah. See, he's kind of the lapdog for Donald Trump. Oh, yeah. No, come on. Let's cut the garbage. Let's not act like Adam Schiff and Swalwell and others on the left side of the aisle. And they're acting like complete buffoons. I'm not going to pull any punches here. William Barr has had a notable history of well over 40 years of serving the American political system, the American government, and us, the American people. And I dare say that I have complete trust in this man, that nothing illegal, nothing illicit, nothing under the table, or acting as the disgusting, despicable Maxine Waters said, acting as a lackey for President Trump. They did not find any collusion. They did not find any obstruction of justice. They did find that the White House cooperated fully in the investigation. And to the Democrats, these despicable little people, not all of them, but most, these despicable little people like Adam Schiff, Eric Swalwell, and others, Jerry Nadler, I mean, there's a man that you absolutely can't look at without contempt, that are perpetuating a lie and are going to keep carrying that deflated football and play with it for another football game going after Trump. This whole investigation took over 26,000 subpoenas? 2,600 subpoenas, pardon me, put a zero in there when I shouldn't have. And all the investigators, all the time, and all the money. And this report does not show, let me emphasize the words, any collusion by the Trump campaign or Donald Trump. All this is, and what it looks like it's going to be with the CNNs and the MSNBCs and the ABCs, CBSs, etc., the media, and, of course, the spokespeople for the Democratic Party, is nothing more than just a farce. You can read into it what you want to, but truth is truth. The Democrats will not accept this report. Why? It's not because they can't accept the truth. It's because they absolutely hate Donald Trump. And quite frankly, they hate us too, that voted for Donald Trump. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. This is something that you need to speak out on this morning. We're going to take that call in just a second. I want to remind everybody about our friends over at Rain for Rent. Hello, Jake and the crew. I'm telling you, they get there early in the morning, especially this time of the year. And boy, they are busy at Rain for Rent. Jake and his great staff of dedicated sales and service staff, Reinke Diamond Dealer, and believe me, they've got the telemetry annex boxes that they can put on your pivots. You could be anywhere and just do the whole thing on your phone. I'm telling you, the latest in technology from Rain for Rent at 134 South, 600 West of Paul. Number to call the crew over there at the office, 438-5065. I'll repeat it, 438-5065. Be sure and get a hold of our friends at Rain for Rent. And real quick, hold on, caller. Don't chomp on the bit. I'll be right there. I want to give a big shout out to our friends over at Ark Animal Hospital, Dr. Bill and the whole crew. Oh, they are good, and oh, they take care of your animals, whether they're itty-bitty kitty cats or whether you got a great big herd of dairy cattle. And right now is the time in the spring to spay and neuter your cats and dogs, please, and deworm your horses, please. And they've got all the calving supplies. They've got it all for you at 750 21st Street near Connection Credit Union in Hayburn. And the number, 678-1177. They've got the warm hearts for the cold noses at Ark Animal Hospital. Caller, you are on the air.
Well, thank you, sir. Yeah, I got to just see a couple snippets of the Barr news conference. And what I took away from it, what I could see, the look on Rod Rosenstein's face. Like, uh-oh. Things are about to get real.
Okay, now I don't know how what your assertion is there with Rod Rosenstein, but I'm just going to say this: I think that he and Attorney General Barr, I do not know Rosenstein. I've just followed the news, followed what was said, followed the studies, read a lot about it. I think they were very honest and forthright.
Well, yeah, Barr brought that out, but Rosenstein signed one of the FISA re-up.
Yeah. The repercussions, Doug, I want to ask you about repercussions. I think that this is going to do two things. Number one, it's going to put in my mind that Trump did nothing to collude and or work or anything illegal or illicit with Russia, and he did not try to be an obstruction of justice. That is a done deal in my mind. But the other side of the coin that I want you to comment on, I think it opened a cave. It rolled away a great big rock in front of a cave and said to the Democrats, we don't believe a word of it. We're going to create more problems. We're going to go at this thing. We're going to go at certain people, and we're going to tie it up right through the election in 2020.
Exactly, and that's what they want to do. They've done this to get President Trump's approval rating down in the 30s so they could impeach him. But the American people were smart enough and could see what President Trump is doing for this country and what he is sacrificing for this country to make it great again, that his approval ratings keep going up. The last one I heard, he's above 50-something.
Yeah, I just don't understand what the Democrats don't understand. I mean, Doug, they lied. They perpetrated fraud. Adam Schiff, you heard it. You talked about it with me on the program, my dear friend. He sat right there on numerous times and said, I have personal evidence of collusion from Donald Trump. Well, where is it, my friend, you little bug-eyed monster? Where is it?
The old pencil neck, it's in his mind. And the reason the Democrats are so upset, I'll answer that question for you, and I feel I'm correct on this answer, is because Donald Trump is going to bring an end to their cover-ups and their backhanded deals and their get-rich-in politics. He's going to bring an end to it and make it more politics for the people.
I just am so sick and tired of this. Well, I know. I've got personal evidence. I have it right here. Where is it? Well, we're going to release it at the right time. Please tell me, what would be a more appropriate time?
Right now. But they have squat. They know they have squat. They've started this lie thinking that they could pull this off. This is their insurance policy. And the insurance policy, they didn't make the proper payments on it, so it's null and void.
I think the company went out of business.
But now they can't come out to the American people and say, well, we lied to you.
Yeah. Okay, we'll stop right there for a minute, though. It's not just they. It's also the news media in general. In general, I mean, look at CNN with Don Lemon and all the other characters, the morning crew over there at MSNBC, which are disgusting people. Brika Prashinsky and all these different people are absolutely, they're hung out on the clothesline right now. And they can't apologize because of their personal pride, and they have nothing to stand on. What are they going to do?
They are a nothing now. I heard this morning that the Cartoon Network has more viewers than CNN and NBC and all those.
I read a little report on what you're talking about, and then I got into the call, but the Food Network. Yeah. The Food Network beats CNN.
So they are in the toilet, so to speak, and President Trump has his hand on the flesh button.
Well, really, when you get caught like this, and I mean, it was an opportunity. They could have backed out of this a long time ago and turned back into being real journalists and studied the facts and relayed the facts to the public instead of the perpetration of their own feelings of hatred against Donald Trump. They're at a point now where I feel they have to do this in order to gain any credibility whatsoever. They, like Don Lemon and Brika and all these other people, they have to look at the camera and I think say this. Ladies and gentlemen, we were prejudiced against Donald Trump because we did not think that he would be appropriate as President of the United States. And our news might have been jaded and slanted in many, many instances against Donald Trump. We are sorry for that, and we wish now, after this Mueller report has been concluded, that the President has a good remaining term in office to serve the American people. How's that for making it up on the fly, Dougie?
Well, I'll buy you a steak dinner when they do that.
Ain't gonna happen.
If they don't do it in the next 2 years, you got to buy me one.
Oh, well, get ready to order. I got to run. I got another call.
You betcha. Anyway, everybody, let's do what we can for senior centers on summertime, springtime, and we're starting to get out and about doing some stuff. If you plant a garden, plant a few extra vegetables.
Yeah.
When they come off, take them to the senior centers. They can use them.
Absolutely. Doug, I appreciate you very much. Thank you very much. Hey, caller, I'll be right there. Sorry to keep you waiting. Mad River Laser with Nicole and the crew at 502 East Street in Rupert, right on the east side of the square next to the Youth Ranch. Oh, they're offering Carhartt brand. I love Carhartt. That's basically all I wear except for Wranglers. And I'll tell you, they offer the high-quality brands, including Calvin Klein, Bella Canvas, Carhartt, Adidas, Sport Tech. All of this is at, of course, Mad River Laser. And, the best of T-shirts, caps, all your logos, everything. Please stop in and see Nicole and the rest of the outfit at Mad River Laser on the east side of the square in Rupert, right next to the Youth Ranch. They are the best. Caller, you've been very patient. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, Zeb. You know, I have a new theme for the Democratic Party, and it is, don't confuse me with the facts. My mind is made up.
Boy, you've got that right. I don't know where they're going to go from here. Do you recall about 4 or 5 days ago, I believe it was Monday, I could be wrong on the date, I don't have my book in front of me, I had Dr. Gerard Lamero on my program, and he has really been good as a political analyst, and he's been on all the networks, he's been on all the top shows, including mine, and he made the prognostication that this report, if you heard the program when he was on here a couple days ago, this Mueller report is going to be the ruination of the Democratic Party as we know it, and it's going to start getting more and more fractured.
Yes, and you notice in that part where the Attorney General comes out and makes the statement, he was armed and ready to fight when he asked for questions. And that one lady asked him the question, and he said, I am not a lapdog for the president.
Yeah. It's almost offensive to me that the news media in general, including our own Times News, they got backed into a corner. They were painting the floor red, and I should say blue. That's a better color. They were painting the floor blue, and then all of a sudden they noticed that they were surrounded by a corner, and now they can't get out of it without stepping in the wet paint. That's where they are right now.
Yeah, and like you said earlier there, what they need to do is to wipe the slate clean with their news people and just say, evidently, we have received some bad information over the last 2 years, and we have been wrong, and we apologize and everything. They would be so much better thought of.
No, I'm going to disagree with you on something you said there. You said evidently we have received. No, they were the ones that perpetrated the bad information. They don't want to blame it on somebody else. They would be much further ahead to look at the camera and say, we perpetrated false information that was not documented and could not be backed up. They need to take the blame for this and hang it around their shoulders. Nobody gave them bad information. They perpetrated and enhanced bad information.
No, they want to do it kindly in their favor. You know, in other words, they were right all along because they reported what was reported to them.
Yeah, but no. If you're going to be a journalist, no, Keith, I'll tell you, to be a journalist, you've got to investigate. You've got to also be kind of a Sherlock Holmes. You've got to investigate the facts, and you've got to make sure that the facts are the facts before you put them on the news. To say that, like CNN and Don Lemon, that they received bad information, that just shows how absolutely phony they are. If they're a news gathering source, they need to find out the facts before they present the news at all.
So people can write this down. The Democratic Party's new theme should be, don't confuse me with the facts. My mind is made up.
Got it. All right. I'll see you at Lunch Bunch. Thanks for calling, Keith. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Don't forget Barry Equipment and Rental Sales Service and Parts, 159 West Highway 30 in Burley, along with 465 Addison Avenue West in Twin and the Nampa location. And, boy, I tell you, for all the equipment you need for lifting, digging, pushing, carrying, they've got it all. I'm telling you, along with all the Bobcats. You know, on all the Bobcats, they've got 0% financing for 60 months. You better check it out today at Barry Equipment and Rental. We've had these folks on our program for a long time, and we appreciate them. They are the best at what they do. Barry Equipment and Rental. Burley, Twin Falls, and Nampa. You stop in, see them today. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Please give us a call. This is really important. Now, this story came out in our own little wonderful Times News this morning. Oh, my goodness, look who was interviewed by the Times News. It was United States Representative Mike Simpson. Oh, my goodness, and here's what he said. I know you can't wait. I can't either. Let's read it slowly and just savor it. U.S. Representative Mike Simpson has long called for common sense bipartisan immigration reform. Sure you have, Mike. As a matter of fact, you've called for it a long time. I wonder, I haven't heard you call on this program. And he said that he has been vocally skeptical of President Donald Trump's proposal for a wall spanning the southern border. Aha! And then Mike Simpson goes on to say that he is in the process of putting together a group of Republicans and Democrats to address the relationship between immigration and agriculture. Attaboy, Mike. Kind of the 11th hour. The coach is turning into a pumpkin, but that's okay. And then he goes on to say, and this is the part that really irritates me about Mike Simpson. He said, and I'm quoting, Simpson bemoaned political polarization in Washington, D.C. and across the country, which he described as being fueled in part by cable news channels. He said the cable news channels have impeded the federal government's ability to find a solution to the humanitarian crisis at the border. No, Mike, they haven't. As a matter of fact, they've exposed you guys for what you are back in Washington, D.C., and the R is you're doing nothing. Don't blame the news media. How dare you? For inactivity and inability to get something done. To me, that's a cop-out, and that's a disgusting excuse. He blamed the cable news channels and said they have impeded the federal government's ability to find a solution to the humanitarian crisis at the border. That makes me mad. Mike Simpson, you're wrong. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
You nailed it, buddy. He is wrong. And I'm old enough to remember, too, when Pelosi and Schumer says, open up the government and we'll come to the table and negotiate on the border. Well, apparently they didn't say what year they was going to come and negotiate.
You know, this is highly offensive to me. Now, everybody knows that I'm not a fan of Mike Simpson. Everybody knows that Mike and I have had our little tiff about 3.5 years ago. Everybody knows that I'm not going to back down to him as a congressman. He's supposed to be my employee, if you will, back in Washington, D.C., the same as yours. And I'm not going to kowtow to him or anybody else. But to blame the cable news channels and say that they have impeded the federal government's ability to find a solution, that is the biggest and sorriest and lamest excuse I've ever heard. The cable news channels don't sit in those leather chairs in Congress. The cable news channels do not sit there in the closed-door meetings and try to solve the immigration process. It's the Democrats and the Republicans that have not got together and got this done, and Mike Simpson is one of the problem.
Exactly. They do not want to change their little gravy train they got going on back there. That's why they keep the little infighting going on. That's why they keep their, we need bipartisan. We need solutions for America, not bipartisan. It should not be Democrat, should not be Republican. It should be American.
But how can you blame? You know, this is the thing that gets me about politicians. How can they always blame somebody else for their ineptitudes and inability to get something done?
Because they do not have enough self-esteem to stand up and take responsibility where it belongs.
I just absolutely, I'm showing my prejudice against Mike Simpson here. I can't help it, and in some respects I should apologize. But I absolutely am sick and tired of a politician saying, well, the reason we didn't do anything is because of somebody else. That is absolutely a sick excuse.
It is. It's passing the buck. It's the political two-step. It's what they've learned when they go back there. When questions get a little tough and you don't want to have to answer it, then do the political two-step and blame someone else.
You know, and I know eventually it's going to turn around and buzz around, and it's going to go to the hive, and then they're going to come out again, and eventually they'll say, well, Zeb Bell, it's people like you that have slowed down the political process because you're always criticizing them. What? That's basically what he said about the cable news network channels. He's blaming somebody else because they didn't get anything done.
Yeah, we're wanting to hold their feet to the fire, and they don't like the heat. So,
I hope Mike comes out here in the not too distant future, and it's an event where I can be there and ask questions, because I'm going to stand up. I'm going to keep this little story. And I want to find out exactly by saying, Congressman Simpson, you and I have had our history together, but why in the world would you blame news channels for impeding the federal government's ability to find a solution to the illegal aliens at the border? And I want to just watch him stumble and stammer, because how in the world, that's like, honestly, the NFL officials making a call and then saying, well, an umpire in baseball called the wrong strike.
Yeah.
I mean, it's silly, frivolous.
We made the wrong call because the cameras were...
Yeah. No, I was comparing it. It's like comparing one sport making a call and the other sport complaining about it. That's basically what it is.
Exactly. Yep, they don't have enough backbone. and I'll say that about Mike Simpson, he does not have enough backbone to stand up for Idahoans and stand up for what's right.
No, I'm really upset about this. Doug, I got to do a commercial, and I got another call. I mean, for heaven's sakes, to blame other entities for your own inability? Wow, that's low-classed.
It is. And I'm like I say, I'm going to have his picture on a milk carton probably next week.
All right, buddy. Thank you very much. Don't forget Perkins Restaurant and Bakery at 800 North Overland in Burley. They're going to be open on Easter Sunday this Sunday from 6 in the morning till 10 p.m. And, they're having a strawberry festival. All the delicious fresh strawberry entrees. I mean, pies and everything else is delicious. You're going to love Easter eating at Perkins. Absolutely. Perkins Restaurant and Bakery. 800 North Overland in Burley, where they say they believe in being the best buds with your taste buds. Oh, my goodness. Caller, you've waited a long time. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning. I guess I know where I'm going to be Sunday morning. Strawberries sound good.
Oh, boy.
What I called about was, what was the last thing Mike Simpson has done for the people of the state of Idaho? I can't recall anything.
I'm starting to hear crickets again.
What's that?
I said I'm starting to hear crickets again.
Exactly. And last time I called in, I expressed my disgust with the feller. I voted against him. Every time he comes up, I vote against him if there's an option. And if there's not, I write someone in. I know it don't much matter, but I still do it because it's my right, and I have the ability to do so. If I'm not mistaken, one of the things he did was took away some and made public lands inaccessible to motor vehicles and all that kind of sort of fun stuff. Wasn't it the clouds or something like that, Boulder Clouds?
Well, the White Clouds issue is one that I absolutely have a lot of disagreements on, but in general, the comment that I made a moment ago, I'm going to stand behind 100%, that for a politician, regardless of whether it's Mike Simpson or not, to blame another source for a problem that's not being taken care of by Congress, the Senate, and the House, that's asinine.
It is, and it's the shorter version was I get around to it. Every politician, I think that comes with their job description, is find someone else to bounce the blame off of.
Amen.
Instead of just saying, you know what, I didn't cover the job good enough, I didn't follow through good enough, I didn't listen to my constituents good enough, I'm sorry, let's see if we can change this or make amends. That's something different. But to just push it off on the media or somebody else did this or, well, the Democrats, they didn't come together and vote the right way. Well, maybe you just didn't present it good enough, or maybe you weren't loud enough, or maybe you didn't listen enough. But I'm with you. I'm getting sick and tired of hearing somebody else to blame for their own shortcomings and such.
You know something, Riley? I appreciate your call. You always come across with some really good thoughts. Thank you for your call this morning. Thank you. When I make a mistake on this program, I've got two options. I can just sit there and blatantly stumble ahead and ignore the mistake and hope you do too. Or I can say, I'm sorry. I goofed, I made a bad mistake, and I'd like to make my apologies for it. I have made mistakes on this program, and I have apologized for them. And the one thing that Deanna and I and the others that help me with this program, we always try to maintain a level of consistency and accuracy. When I bring a story to you in the morning on my show, I make sure that it is 100% absolute fact before I put it on the air. And for the news media in general, and I'm not standing up for all the news media, please, because they've got a lot of holes in their screen door, but to be blamed because of the ineptness and the absolute do-nothing attitude of Congress by our Representative Mike Simpson, that is totally bogus. Caller, quickly, I've got to get a weather forecast on. I'm going to give you a minute. Go fast.
Well, that all
I'll call back after the weather or hold me over.
Yeah, because you'd want to stay on hold. I'm limited on time this morning, and I'll put you on right after the weather. So stay on hold. I'll be right there. The weather brought to everybody this hour by Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids, and they're located right behind the Minidoka Hospital, across from the emergency room, and they are the best at what they're doing, making sure that you have the best of hearing health. Your loss of hearing might be caused by maybe some problems like heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, any number of things. Please call them and let them help you with the hearing screening. 312-0957. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. And right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Going to be a nice day for today and tomorrow. By the weekend, a little bit wet. Here's a look at your weather forecast. Sunny skies is what we're expecting. Slightly breezy winds out of the southwest at about 5 miles an hour. Expecting a high of 66. Tonight, mostly clear. Still a little bit breezy with a low 43. Tomorrow, beautiful day. Sunny skies, high of 77. Winds out of the east-southeast at about 10 miles an hour. Gusts as high as 21 miles an hour. By Friday night, looks like some clouds are going to be rolling into the valley. Expecting a low of 48. And then by Saturday, we do have a slight chance of afternoon rain showers and thunderstorms, partly sunny sky with a high of 64, wind gusts as high as 22 miles an hour. Then for Sunday, 40% chance of showers, mostly cloudy, and a high of 60. That's a look at your weather forecast for Zebeth Duran.
Thank you, Gina, and brought to you by Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids, and they are the best at what they do in treating your hearing health. 312-0957. Caller, thank you. Good morning. You're on the air. Go.
Yeah, good morning. Well, Mike Simpson is in the hip pocket of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce that represents all these businesses that wants cheap labor. Nobody even ran against him last time because the two previous people that ran against him in the primary didn't have the resources. Mike got very little of his money from in-state, but the U.S. Chamber of Commerce has open pocketbook for him, and that's a fact. You're talking about facts, and if you check it out, that's exactly it. So he's not for limiting immigration of these illegals, bringing in cheap help. He's for it, and that's why he does nothing. He has to have some excuse to blame Fox News or somebody for his ineptness and his not keeping the Constitution, which, of course, Zeb says in Article 4, Section 4, there to protect us against invasion. And we're being invaded, and he's not keeping his oath of office. He needs to be taken out to the woodshed.
Well, I'll tell you what, when I read that, and I'm reading it as it was, and I believe you, sir, saw the article that I'm referring to. But when you read the words that were written in the paper, and I was very precise, Mike Simpson said this. He described as fueled in part by the cable news channels, and he said that polarization and personal tensions between, and then he named a bunch of the leaders from the Pelosi, etc., he said the cable news channels, the news media, have impeded the federal government's ability to find a solution to the humanitarian crisis at the border. Adrian, the news channels and everybody like me, they're not sitting back in Congress. He is, and Congress and the Senate have not done their job. Absolutely, and of course, the Democrats want all of these people in here so they become Democratic voters. Put them on welfare. You and I are but why is the national debt climbing at the rate it is? Because we have so much welfare out there, and these refugees that come into this area, you would be absolutely flabbergasted how much tax-free money they get. It's incredible. They get more money than the average person lives on, family in this Magic Valley, and they're driving around in practically new vehicles, if not new. They get almost free housing, free this and free that, and we're paying the bill. And so, and they don't want to assimilate. And of course, they're bringing in diseases, as we talked about in the last day or so. You know, this has got to stop. But Simpson is just looking for an excuse for his not keeping his oath to uphold the Constitution. I appreciate it, Adrian. Thank you for your call. Well stated and succinctly. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, you have a great day. All right, sir. No, I'm sorry if this offends certain... No, I'm not sorry, for heaven's sakes. I should never apologize. I believe in what I said. And I'm not sorry. I know there are the Mike Simpson's lovers out there. Oh, he's criticizing Representative Simpson. Oh, how terrible. Well, he brought it on himself. He's brought it on himself. He has not called into this program. He has not apologized for a remark he made to me about 3 years ago, and I'm not going to weaken on this. The floor is open for him to come in via the phone line and be on this program anytime he wants to. But when you make statements that you blame others for your inability to get things done, I have no respect for that whatsoever. Don't forget our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric and, of course, Lennox. And if you're looking for a whole home comfort system, they have them. Absolutely. And they can offer up to $1,700 in rebates on a new system. Oh, my. Call Ramsey Heating and Electric today at 678-0459 or visit with them online at ramseysonline.com. Terms and conditions apply. See dealer for details. Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Adrian just said something a moment ago that a lot of people dispute and say, oh, well, it's wonderful. They don't cost us any money or anything. The illegal aliens coming in. Well, whoa. Adrian was spot on. He was right on the money. The Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, is going to be proposing a new rule that further prevents, now I want you to listen closely to this, that further prevents illegal immigrants from taking advantage of public housing assistance. Section 214 of the Housing and Community Development Act prevents non-citizens from obtaining financial housing assistance. But they have been. And they've been able to skirt the restrictions by living with family members who are U.S. citizens and receiving subsidized housing through HUD. Adrian hit it on the head. And that's right straight from HUD. I got the paper in my hand. We are being gamed. And we are being taken. And we're paying through the nose. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Again, the lunch bunch today at 11:30. Don't miss it. Please bring a friend, bring a neighbor, bring a relative, bring all of them. And we'll be there at 11:30 at Denny's Restaurant. And that's 611 North Overland in Burley. And again, our thank yous go out to our gift certificate donors, Walmart, Smith's Foods, Hanson Mortuary, Stokes Groceries, Doug Martin, and Denny's. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Go, please.
Yes, Bob. I'm very busy, and is that true that Simpson had said that about the news media?
Now, wait a minute. I'm offended by that remark, Randy, and I'll tell you why. I do not say anything on this program that is not true. I've got the direct quote in the newspaper. Pick up the newspaper and read it for yourself.
No, I didn't hear what you said. I'm sorry. I thought you said Simpson had said the news media was in...
I did. I'll repeat the comment one more time, Randy.
Sorry.
No, listen to me. Representative Mike Simpson said he described the problems in Washington, D.C. and the polarization as being fueled in part by cable news channels. He said they have impeded the federal government's ability to find a solution to the humanitarian crisis at the border.
I mean, this guy is so full of excuses, and it's a shame we can't get rid of him, but we can't find anybody to run against him, and then we just go in there and we mark it down. I don't even know if I vote for him anymore. I just don't vote for anybody, which is a terrible shame.
Well, the thing is, Randy, when you're doing a construction job and your name's on the contract and you make a big goof, I mean, you make a bad mistake, what are you going to do? Go blame it on the lumber company?
No, I have to stand there and take, I'm not perfect, that's for certain.
And neither am I. But to point fingers at others when you're a congressman and a senator and you're saying that, well, the news media caused this and they impeded that. Your job is to go back there and get things done. And how dare they blame other people for their shortfalls?
Well, when somebody described Mike Simpson as a citizen of Versailles, of D.C., Washington, D.C., who will never come home. He might come home here to act like he cares, but he won't come here to live. He'll never be here. He doesn't even come here at all if he doesn't have to. He's a two-bit. And it's a shame, but you see, the good people of Idaho reelect him because, well, who else is there? Scott Bedke should run against him maybe or something. I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Where he's at, because I think Scott, people have opinions about things, but I think Scott's done a great job where he's at.
I do, too. Listen, man, I appreciate your call, but I only put things on that are verifiable, and always remember that, Randy. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I've just been so darn busy, and I shut off my cable news. I want to get, I don't read the newspaper. We're running hot out here in the Donald J. Trump economy.
All right, buddy. I got to run. I'm running hot, too, against the clock. I got to run. Thank you. Want to remind everybody about our major sponsor, and that's your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you with a big spring tire sale going on right now where you can save a lot of money on the best of tires like the Eclipse, the Ultra Z900, the Open Country HT. Yeah, I mean for your cars, pickups, SUVs, horse trailers, boat trailers, everything. Big spring tire sale. Stop in now. And don't forget the best in brake service, front end alignment, shocks and struts, batteries, all of this, of course, with the best in service. Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family and Paul, Daniel on Pole Line in Twin Falls, and my buddy Randy on Overland in Burley, the best. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. I'm late, got to run to the news. Wheels, take it away. Oh, good morning on a beautiful, fantastic Thursday, April 18th, as we go into Easter weekend. Thank you very much. Right now, Zeb at the Ranch brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you with the big spring tire sale. And, of course, don't forget, too, our great advertisers, one of which is Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Wow, we got a lot of things to talk about. Right now, I want to remind you, too, about our friends at Perkins Restaurant. They are at 800 North Overland in Burley, and they're going to be open on Easter Sunday from 6 in the morning till 10 p.m., and they're having a strawberry freshtival. I love that, freshtival. All the fresh strawberry entrees. Oh, it's going to be fantastic, along with all the great Easter breakfasts and dinners at Perkins Restaurant and Bakery, 800 North Overland in Burley, where they believe in being best buds with your taste buds at Perkins. Really, really nice people. And real quick, I want to remind you, too, about our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox. Home Comfort Systems. Lennox Home Comfort Systems and Ramsey Heating and Electric offering up to $1,700 in rebates on a new system. And check it out today. Ramsey Heating and Electric at 678-0459 or visit them online at Ramsey'sOnline.com. Terms and conditions apply. See the dealer for details at Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox. We're going to go to our report in just a moment regarding our Chamber of Commerce, so stand by for that. I also want to give a great big thank you to Joel Heward, family, and staff for what they do for the entire community. Yes, they are always there to serve you and your family. And when there's a passing of a loved one, they are always there to provide the families they serve with the best possible support and comfort. And always remember this, with the highest ethical standards, with unquestioned integrity. They are there to serve you. Hanson Mortuary at 710 6th Street in Rupert, the number to call, 436-5636. And Joel Heward also serving you at Morrison Payne Funeral Home on East Main in Burley. Let's go to the phone line right now, and I think that we've got a gentleman that is still in his pajamas, still there with a glass of milk and a cookie, not rested up entirely from tax day. Lyden Crane, how are you?
Pretty good. I'd love that cookie. I should have tried to win them on Monday, I guess, huh?
Well, all you got to do is call in with the right answer. You always say that accountants know everything.
Oh, we like to pretend that we can't look like we don't know something.
What's happening with the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce this morning, Lyden?
Well, I'm trying to get caught up a little bit here myself after pulling some crazy hours here, but I think we've got a full slate still for this week, and we've been talking a lot about the women's seminar coming up, which is on April 24th. We're basically 1 week and counting from that. I'll be down at the Burley Best Western from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., and folks, same staff that work there at Perkins will be cooking up a great meal. We just heard about them. I wanted to talk about tickets today. We're getting close. We need people to come and get their tickets, and it's a $20 for a ticket. It gets you in all day and includes a meal. Perkins and the staff at the Burley Best Western will be cooking that up, and so lots of great speakers, lots of great booths and advertisers, people to talk about the products that they make here locally. The theme of the conference is going to be hidden gems, and we think that we're bringing some of those to the community.
Okay.
So we wanted to give a big thank you to ICCU. They're our major sponsor this year, and they've always been a huge supporter of the chamber. And they've got great financial services for anybody looking for loans and help with their banking.
All right. Now, this seminar or this Women's Expo, boy, I tell you what, it's going to start at, you said, 9 o'clock in the morning on the 24th. We've been advertising for it. And you're going to have speakers. Do you want to highlight any of the particular speakers that are going to be there?
I would. When we've mentioned this a couple times the last few weeks, but I don't think we can emphasize it enough. We have Jessie Roberts, who is the founder of Cheeky's Boutique, which is an Idaho company, and she started this boutique from the ground up in a very small Idaho town, just like we have here, and she's become one of the hottest sellers online, and also has a great store there in her town, and she's going to come and talk about her experience and what she feels made her successful, and some of the obstacles she had to overcome to get there. And so I think it's just going to be a great story, a great motivation for everyone to hear what she's done and made Idaho and our communities proud. So.
All right, well, that's just going to be a fantastic day on the 24th. And anything else that you'd like to highlight this morning, Lyden?
Yes, we have a new event that we have begun to advertise for, and this is another, it seems like all of the health fairs and, get out there and get active. I've got to start working off some of these extra tax season pounds. And there's some subliminal messaging here, but the Intermountain Cassia Regional Hospital is going to be holding a health and safety expo on Friday, May 3rd from 3 to 6 p.m. in the afternoon. And they're going to have a lot of different things going on there. But the ones I was interested in, they've got some free screenings for, blood pressure, diabetics. They're going to be doing some vision and hearing screenings, and then also talking about some of the services that they have, like their, Life Fly ambulance and the different things that we can do as citizens to help them in emergencies. And so we're excited about that. If you've got some kids, want to bring them out, they're going to have an obstacle course there and also be giving away free teddy bears to the younger ones as long as they've got the supply that will last. So should be a good time and a good chance to kind of do some self-checking for all of us.
Absolutely. One other thing, and Wheels, we got a little bit of feedback on the line here. One other thing, too, what about that golf tournament coming up?
That's right. We've got the golf tournament later this summer. I believe it's June 19th. And we're almost sold out on teams, so if you want to get a team in, that's got to be coming up coming quickly and getting your registration in. And you can call down to the chamber at 679-4793 and talk to Lorena. I believe our sponsorships are all sold out. We've got our last ones here this last week. And so, but we're still looking for a couple of teams, and it's a great time, and love to have some businesses sponsor people to come out and play.
All right. You know, I heard a rumor that while tax season was really in its crest, you were having 50-pound bulk bags of Cheetos delivered at midnight to your office.
Well, that could be correct. I think it was pretzels this year instead of Cheetos. We tried to go with the more healthy option.
You know, it's a busy time of the year, isn't it? People don't really give a lot of credos or kudos, I should say, to accountants. I mean, you got to burn that midnight oil because time is of essence.
Yes, it really is. And we got through this year. It was a big year for the law changes. And we didn't know how everything was going to work out, but one way or another it does. And to my staff and everybody else, you know, there's other great accountants here in the community. We all get along pretty well, and I know they were working hard too. And so we hope things will be able to just calm down a little bit and have a year where Congress just gets bored and doesn't do anything, but we'll see how that goes.
When midnight, and you hear the ding, 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 ding of midnight on tax day, and you know it's over, there's no more hurry, there's no more late nights or turning the flashlights on to see with the extra lights, what do you do? Just collapse on the living room floor? What do you do?
I get excited because that means I can go do something else. I took my kids fishing the next day. That's kind of our after-tax season celebration.
There is nothing more relaxing than having the wee ones throw their rod and reel either in the water or wrap the worm around Daddy's neck.
Yep. Exactly. It reminds you you're alive.
Oh, my goodness. Hey, listen, man, you did a great job, Lyden Crane, and talking to us from the Minnecasia Chamber of Commerce. Great, great job again this morning. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Zeb. Have a great day.
All right. Take care. Share some of the Cheetos with me, buddy. Okay. We're going to have another lady on the program in just a moment, a dear friend of ours, talking about an event that's coming up. But right now I want to talk to you about Patterson's in Burley. They are the nicest people, and absolutely they've got everything, all your electronics needs. They understand this kind of thing. They can help you with this kind of thing. You know, like whether home theater systems, or maybe you're looking to really deck out your car with a stereo and speaker system, or maybe you need a new TV, Bunky, to come home at night, kick off your Tony Lamas and kick back and say, Samsung, Sony, Toshiba, we thank you. Great televisions right there at Patterson's, 421 East Main in Burley. And they've got the HughesNet Internet, all of this, and there's so much more. So please stop in or give them a call at 678-6997. Patterson's at 421 East Main in Burley. Open Monday through Saturday, 9 to 6. Stop in and see Patterson's in Burley. Want to also, let me see, I got to check my list here. Oh, remind you, Mondays we have at 10:30 Vicky's Country Garden and a show called Green Thumbs, Dirty Knees, and Vicky's Country Gardens. That's at 10:30 on Monday through the course of the summer. And for all your gardening needs, your plants, your seeds, everything, it's all right there at Vicky's Country Gardens over near Paul. You stop in on the Burley-Paul Highway and see her today. All right, now let's see. Let's go and visit with a very, very nice lady. Donna Mass, are you there?
I am, sir.
How are you?
You know, I'm doing wonderful. Thank you. First of all, thank you so much, Zeb, for all that you do for the communities. You know, you're out there in front of the public every single day doing what's right.
Well, that's awful nice of you to say, but really, I was going to give kudos to you and George and many, many others that do so much to help the community and certain people in the community, and that's why I wanted you to come on this morning and talk about a benefit dinner for a mutual friend of ours, J.R. Strunk. It's all happening on Saturday. Donna, tell us about it quickly.
Okay, as probably most of you know, JR has been diagnosed with cancer. We are doing a benefit dinner for him on this Saturday, the 20th of April, at the Rupert Senior Center, or Minidoka County Senior Center, 702 11th Street in Rupert. The cost is $10 a person. We have raffle items. We have 2 rifles. One is a 22-250 rifle that we've got those all filled up, I believe, which is awesome. And then we also have a Mossberg 88 field and security shotgun with a 18.5-inch barrel and a 28-inch barrel.
Wow.
And that's an awesome. You can use it in the house if somebody's coming in that you don't want in, or you can use it out in the field. We have tons of raffle prizes and silent auction items. I just can't believe how this community has stepped up and supported JR. And so we'd like to invite everybody out on the 20th. The serving time is between 4 to 6, but we will serve. We may even start a little bit early. So come early, look over the prices. The dinner is a spaghetti dinner, which I've heard is really good. So hopefully it'll turn out as good as everybody thinks it will.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, JR asked me to tell everyone thank you so much. He's very humbled by the support he and Sharon have been given. And just wanted to say thank you. He's a man of few words.
Yeah.
And so, super nice guy. He's been a member. We've been like family for quite a few years now, and he and Sharon are just super awesome people. And they go ahead.
No, I was just going to interrupt you right there and say thank you for bringing that up, because JR has done so much to help other activities and other people. And that's the thing that I wanted to bring out this morning. And I had a couple of calls this last week and some the week before when I started really hitting this benefit dinner for JR. And one person that called me the other day, and it left an indelible part of my memory for that day. A lady called and she said, Mr. Bell, I am from out of the area, and I didn't hear all of it, but I do know who J.R. Strunk is, and I'm going to make it a point that I'm there to eat that night at that dinner in support of him. And she asked for all the information. So I don't know where she's from. I didn't ask her any other information, but people really care about helping J.R. Strunk.
Oh, that is so awesome. We've got some really nice raffle items. We've got some beautiful silent auction items, gift cards. I can't mention everybody because just as sure as I could, I would forget. But just want to let everybody know, thank you so much. You know, it means a lot to George and I, and Les and Marilyn Wilson are with us on this. And it's very humbling for us. Because, we live in such great communities.
Yeah.
Idaho's a wonderful place to live.
Well, you've proven that with all the things you've done for other people over the many years I've been on the radio program. And Donna Massa, I want to thank you. We're going to send everybody over there from 4 to 6 p.m. at the Rupert Senior Center on this Saturday. Benefit dinner for J.R. Strunk. God bless you, Donna, for coming on. And by the way, you did a better job than George would have.
Oh, thank you.
All right.
I won't tell him you said that.
Okay. He's out on a tractor someplace ready to drive into the canal, right?
He probably is.
Thanks, Donna.
And again, thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for all you do for us. So.
All right. You take care of yourself, and we'll see you Saturday. Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Don't forget the big spring clearance event at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. We're going to be talking to Jeff a little bit later about this, and that's why I'm just kind of curtailed my remarks and let him tell you all about the limited quantities. Once they're gone, they're gone. Check it out today at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. We're going to have him on later on this morning talking about Lee's Furniture. Jeff and the whole crew serving you. Real quick, caller, I'll be right there. Stand by. Don't go away. I want to remind everybody, too, about Let's Ride. Holy moly, they've got all the fun over there. Yes, they do on their showroom floor. All the four-wheelers, all the side-by-sides, all the accessories, and all the knowledgeable people to help you at Let's Ride. 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World, and it's definitely where the fun is sold. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturdays, 9 to 4. I urge you to stop over and see them today. And get out and enjoy the great outdoors of Idaho by stopping over first and foremost to Let's Ride. And this is where the fun is sold. Also, real quick, over in that same area, and we're very, very proud to have them a part of our program as they have been for a long time, and that's Cameron and Siemens Insurance. Really nice people at Highway 24 in Rupert, just on the curve going into Rupert, and there they are. All your life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits, all of this and more for you, your family, and your business, and they are dedicated and accessible to serving you. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. That number to call, 436-4424. Caller, you've been very patient. Go ahead, please.
Yes, sir. I've known JR for 40-plus years, and I'll guarantee you if someone was to tell him, hey, we need some help, he would be the first one there to help you.
I agree.
That is his nature, and that is his heart.
Well, and I got to tell you, a little bit on the humorous side with JR is, he rides a big Harley. And whenever they had those events over at the city square, where they'd welcome the veterans on the Harleys to be there, the Vietnam vets, etc., he would crank it up especially loud for me when he'd drive by that little podium. I mean, rum, 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 and he'd crank it up. I love it. JR is quite a guy.
He is. He's always had kind of a race car. Always had a loud car. He did take mufflers off years and years ago, or put the side dumps on so you bypass the mufflers. And yeah, he's always been a great guy. And I'd like to have Donna Mass give me a call if she would. I'd like to talk to her.
Well, if she's listening, just get a hold of the old one over at Doug's Radiator and Repair and Alternator Repair. Yeah. I don't know why I said that.
I don't either.
I've only known you for all these years. Doug's Alternator and Starter Repair. That sounds a lot better than what I started off to say. I was going to sell your business to somebody else and let you know they're taking over at noon.
Yeah. That'll work for me.
Hey, man, thanks for your call.
You bet.
All right, appreciate it. Oh, my goodness sakes. Let's see what, and I got to tell you again, too, about our friends with Lennox and Ramsey Heating and Electric. Don't forget, you want to be comfy inside, you better check out a whole home comfort system from Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox. Absolutely. And they're offering up to $1,700 in rebates on a new system. All you have to do is call them and find out more. Ramsey Heating and Electric at 678-0459, and terms and conditions apply. See the dealer for details. Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox. All right, your turn. Give me a call. I've got just about 3 or 4 minutes. Yes.
I was just going to let you know, Donna had forgot to plug it in, but she called me to let me know that 100% of the proceeds for JR will go to him and his wife.
Oh, absolutely. And you know something, Wheels, I'm glad you mentioned that, and thank Donna for calling back. Yes, the proceeds from the dinner and everything else, the drawings, raffles, etc., all go to J.R. Strunk. That is really, I'm glad you called. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see what else have I got cooking here real quick. Oh, Magic Valley Irrigation with Jeff and the crew. I got to get this in. 44 East, 500 South of Burley. They are busy right now. Absolutely busy time of the year. And their specialists are ready to serve you. They offer all the irrigation system service and repair, and they can also manufacture the wheel line elbows. All of this and more, and they've been serving you since 1978. Holy cow. Morning, Jeff and the crew at Magic Valley Irrigation. 44 East, 500 South of Burley. You give them a call today, 678-1301. Let me see if I'm caught up. You know, I get behind sometimes, and then I start cussing myself because you didn't do this, you didn't do that. I think we're all caught up. And with that being said, maybe Wheels has already heard the phone ring. I don't know. But I'll quickly remind everybody again, today is Lunch Bunch Day at Denny's Restaurant America's Diner. We start at 11:30, and I urge you to bring a friend, bring a relative, bring all of them, load up the van, come on down. 11:30, we're going to have Lunch Bunch. And we'll look forward to seeing you. Is Rita on the line, Wheels?
Just as you said that, she is, sir.
Oh, I appreciate that. Good morning to my dear, dear friend Rita Ramsey. How are you?
Good morning. Happy Mueller Day.
I love it. Hey, listen, did you get a chance to watch the opening remarks this morning?
Actually, I listened to it, yes.
Okay. You know, I'm going to ask you, and Wheels, a little bit of feedback, not much, but just a little. I'm going to ask you what I commented on the first hour. When he stepped up to the podium and Rosenstein was in the background, etc., I saw a man with integrity. I saw a man that was honest. I saw a man that was sincere in what he was reporting on. And I also saw a kind of a bulldog tenacity that I'm ready to take on anybody that disagrees with me. What did you think about his opening remarks?
Actually, I thought that they were excellent, and he was a take-charge kind of a guy, which is what needed to be done in this circumstance, and I hope he will continue on with finding facts and getting information about the rest of the story, which we know is okay. So if the Trump campaign, or they didn't really find anybody in the Trump campaign doing anything, what about some of the other stuff with the Democrats and the Hillary campaign that need to be looked at?
Well, you right there. Stop hammering the nail, because you've got it right there. What started this? What precipitated all this? And it was a Hillary Clinton and her entourage starting with a phony dossier that they paid for.
Well, that's just it. My husband always says, and about every time they say something, I look at him and go, "You're absolutely right." He says, you know, if the Democrats accuse somebody of doing something, it's because that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
And so they said, well, you know, they were doing this and affiliating with the Russians and da-da-da-da-da-da. And every time there's some kind of a accusation that the Democrats make against somebody, you can darn sure bet that they're the ones that are doing it, and they're hoping that they can shift the blame or attention to someone else so they don't get caught in their own lies.
Okay, now I'm going to just ask you this. So many times, and I know you of anybody that I talk to on the radio, because you're kind of, and I mean this in respect, a news junkie like I am. But how many times did you hear Adam Schiff of California, either on the radio or on television, look at the camera and say, well, I have extensive evidence about collusion with President Trump, his administration, and the Russians? How many times did you hear that?
Oh, we can't even begin to calculate how many times. Just every other time. It was every other breath that he took. He was assuring everybody that in his position, he had all that information that would just put President Trump in jail.
All right, then let's go to Eric Swalwell from California, that little mousy-eyed guy that's now going to run for president. What a joke that is. How many times did you hear him in verbiage that was given to whether it was Fox News or any other network, President Trump is a traitor?
Well, just numbers of times, and we could go down and start making a list and probably have at least one-third of the House of Representatives that are Democrats saying those very kinds of things with absolutely no evidence, nothing that they could prove, and yet they would say all of that. And basically, it comes down to that thing where you can say something about somebody, and when people find out it isn't true, you've already spilled it all over, and it's ink and it's colored, and you can't take it back. And that's all they're about, is that we can just throw anything out there, and the majority of people that hear it will believe it and think, oh my goodness, that's the truth, and off they go. And meanwhile, if there's anything that says that didn't happen, we'll have a little redacted report on the very last page of the New York Times.
Well, and then look at Representative Maxine Waters, black congresswoman from California, disgusting woman, that has come out and not only called Trump a traitor, but she's gone into other low depths of condemning him and calling now Attorney General Barr a lackey for Trump. Does this woman have no shame? Does she have no personality? Does she have any respect? She's one of the lowest people in our House of Representatives.
She is, and I heard somebody several weeks ago refer to her as anti-Maxine, and it was kind of like, okay, that kind of put it into perspective. We're going to have this old lady that kind of doesn't really know what's going on, and she's not keeping up on things, and she just wants to be part of the conversation, and so here she is, anti-Maxine again.
Well, the thing I'm getting at, and I think you'll agree with me, you already have somewhat, is that the Democrats have had ample time to show the evidence and put the evidence to Mueller or anyone else in charge of the investigation, and nothing happened. It's like playing poker. When somebody calls your hand and put the chips in, you've got to show your hand. It's either put up or shut up. But the Democrats will not shut up.
Well, and that's just it. It makes you just wonder, why do they get all of this credibility from other news, maxims? Anybody that's there will say, oh, well, she's got this and that and the other, and they give them all kinds of things like they had credibility, and there's absolutely none, and she's just off, spouting off, and her and numbers of others. She's not the only one. She's just in a camp with all of these crazy people that think that they need to be saying all kinds of stuff, and it has no bearing in truth at all.
You know, what's really, I think you'll agree with me, give this story on the over-examination of the Mueller report, give this story at least until next Monday. Being that it's Easter weekend and everything else, give it till next Monday, and then I will guarantee you the fuse is going to be lit by the Democrats to try to blow up another powder keg in more investigations led by Gerald Nadler and others. How much you want to bet?
Oh, I wouldn't even dare wager with you on it, because I think you're right. The other thing is that with this long weekend, because tomorrow's Good Friday, there's not going to be much going on in the houses of Congress or in Washington or even in a lot of businesses, because they observe Good Friday as a holiday. And so it's kind of like this is a really long weekend, and I don't know how much or who was instrumental in actually doing this, but it almost looks like the Democrats said, okay, if you do it on Thursday, then we won't look quite so bad, because after everybody comes back to work on Monday, we'll have a new narrative and won't be able to have them looking at us going, okay, you idiots, what was wrong with you? You're wrong and everything. So I think that quite interesting how they decide to put some of this stuff out there, and I doubt seriously that this was Trump's, say, well, put it out on Thursday and then we won't have to worry about it till Monday. I think this was kind of a Democrat thing saying, well, maybe we should just do this so that, it can calm down over the weekend when nobody's really talking about it or watching.
Rita, let me ask you this. There are so many other intertwined people and actions, and I want to just throw this at you. What about the late-night so-called talk show hosts like Stephen Colbert? Or any one of those, and I think he's the most disgusting of all of them. But they've all got egg on their face for all their input regarding Trump's a criminal, Trump is a Russian lackey, Trump and Putin in bed together. I mean, they've made some outrageous statements over the last few months, in association with denigrating President Trump and his administration. What about them? What about the Don Lemons of CNN? What about all the and I forgot her husband's name on MSNBC. All of these people have got eggs splattered all over the front of their shirt, their blouse, and their face. What are they going to do?
Well, they'll come up with some kind of a new narrative, and theirs is going to be probably, Barr needs to be investigated because he's the one who's saying that nothing happened here, and we didn't really hear Mueller say this, so we don't know if we should believe him or not because all this redacted stuff, we got to find out what that is. And, they'll just have excuse after excuse after excuse, none of it having any bearing on anything except trying to make it look like, well, we just have to prove to you that we weren't totally wrong here.
Yeah. I want to switch gears, and I don't know if you were listening or not last hour, but I was really offended of Mike Simpson's comments about not getting anything done in Washington, and I'm giving a summation on the comment, basically blaming cable news channels in particular and in part, and he said they have impeded the federal government's ability to find a solution to the humanitarian crisis at the border. How dare he or any congressman or senator blame outside sources for their ineptness? What are your thoughts?
I kind of thought that the cable channels kind of reported stuff. I didn't think they actually had a vote in
There you go. But what did it mean to you, or how did you feel when you read that or heard about that statement that Mike would say something in basic verbiage so dumb?
It's the same old stuff. They're just trying to let people know why they haven't done anything. They're blaming somebody else instead of saying, we really haven't been doing anything because we were afraid that we might get called out and asked to comment, and it might mean that we would have a little bit of repercussion if it came to getting reelected or raising money, or some of the people who send us money might get mad at us. So we've just been sitting on our hands and keeping far away from any microphones as we could and pretending like everything's going fine and no comment so that we can't be held to account. And that's what's really sad is they are supposed to be the ones who are associating back with their constituents, listening to them. And I'm sorry, but I just really don't think that the biggest percent of our district are okay with what's going on at the border and just let them come on in. But that's what his is okay. He's okay with that.
But why, after all these years of supposedly serving the state of Idaho and the nation as a U.S. congressman, why come out? And basically there was a lot of criticism to President Trump and criticism of Trump wanting the wall by Mike Simpson, and then saying, well, he is in the process of putting together a group of Republicans and Democrats to address the relationship between immigration and agriculture. Well, that a boy, Mike. I'm glad the alarm clock went off and you finally woke up and got out of bed.
Well, I am too. And, it comes right back to the same thing that I have said numbers of times. I'm okay for those people coming here if they want to let us know who they are. They come here legally. They're here working. They have permission to be here. We know who's here. We know what they're here for. And that they are not sucking the life out of America by just being on welfare. I'm perfectly okay with that.
Absolutely. But, we got a caller. Boy, there's a great way to start a call. But, and here comes the call real quick. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Well, it's just like with Mike Simpson Crapo and Risch. You never hear a thing out of them, especially Simpson. And you see, they could defend the president. They could defend what is working. They could talk about what that's good that the president has done. They could explain these situations for the reality that they are. But we hear nothing. And then Simpson, he blames people. I mean, he's as worthless as something I can't say on the radio. I just tell you, it's so frustrating. And we reelect that miserable SOB, but there's nobody else to run against him. I've said it twice today. I better shut up. I'll hang up.
I think there's a lot of animus out there regarding Representative Mike Simpson. Do you feel it? Do you hear it from friends in your neighborhood, Rita?
Well, actually, anybody that I associate with feels much the same way. The thing that happens is, and I don't know who, I think a lot of times that people, say, well, he would vote on this for me, and this is good for me, and it doesn't really matter what the rest of the world thinks, or I'm getting this, or I'm getting that, or I think one of the biggest problems, the very biggest problems, is you can't get people to go to the voting booth and vote him down. It's kind of like, oh, well, he'll just win again, so
yeah.
I'm not even going to bother.
Yeah.
And we really went far and beyond and held a number of settings where people could come and listen to I think it was Brian Smith, it's been a while back, when he was running for Mike's position. And, we would have meetings, and we were lucky if we could get 4 people there. We'd have them in the middle of the day, we'd have them in the evening, we had them all over, just numbers of times and places, and people wouldn't even come and listen, and it's kind of like, you don't care. And that's what I think is the problem, is people don't care enough to say, you know what, I guess I ought to spend just a wee bit of time and find out what the facts are.
Well, and in accordance with what you're saying, if they, being people like Representative Simpson, Crapo, our senator, etc., if they're at like Washington Day dinners or whatever the case might be, people have the opportunity to maybe spend $25-$30 on a banquet dinner and yet go and ask respectfully questions and demand answers face to face, and they're not doing that. I would love, honestly, Mike Simpson to call into this program. I'm not going to chase his car anymore. I chased him for a long time, like I have Crapo, Risch, and others, and asked them to come on the program. And you know what? They owe it. Maybe you think I'm wrong on this, Rita, but they owe it to their constituents in their state that elected them to call and let us know what's going on. It shouldn't be the other way, that we have to chase them down.
Well, it should be. And, if he was on the up and up and having real respect for his constituents, he would actually say, I'm going to have a town hall meeting, and
yes.
These are the places that I'm going to have it and when. I invite everybody to come. You don't need to pay to get in. You're welcome to come. If you have a question, put it on a card, and the people at the door will take it and bring it in, and we'll have some of those. And there will be some kind of a discussion, and we'll have a conversation. But he won't do it because he knows the hard questions will be asked. Now, my big question again is, why are Crapo and Risch not doing the same thing? Well, they don't have to report to anybody. And that's one thing why, we've talked about the 17th Amendment needs to be repealed. That was where this all started getting totally out of control, was when the 17th Amendment came into effect, of where the lawmakers do not have to report back to their state. They're responsible to their voters. Well, as long as they get votes, it doesn't matter, and nobody can pull them out of their position. Before, they had to report back to the state legislature, and the legislature would say, hey, we're not going to send you back. We're going to send somebody else because you haven't been representing us.
Well, and I totally agree with your concept and your thoughts on this, but, I could go on and on about Mike Simpson and myself and our little tiff that escalated, but the point is he owes it to you and everybody in the audience to let us know what's going on and to sit down at the Times News and make these statements that he did in this newspaper, especially where he described the news media as being at fault, part of the fault, for the polarization in Washington, and say that they have impeded the federal government's ability to find a solution to the border crisis. That is absolutely just doing nothing but constructing an excuse.
And if the Times News were honest, they would have asked him, okay, give us some points. Tell us what it was that these media outlets and the people obstructed so that you couldn't get anything done.
There you go. Yep. I'm late on the weather. Please bear with me. Weather brought to you by our friends at Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane and Company. We had Lyden Crane on the program earlier this morning, and they, of course, have provided accounting services to the Mini-Cash area for well over 50 years. The best of tax return preparation, business consulting, bookkeeping services, retirement planning, all of this and more, with offices in Burley and Rupert, serving you, your family, and your business. Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane and Company. And right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Going to be a nice day for today and tomorrow. By the weekend, a little bit wet. Here's a look at your weather forecast. Sunny skies is what we're expecting. Slightly breezy winds out of the southwest at about 5 miles an hour. Expecting a high of 66. Tonight, mostly clear. Still a little bit breezy with a low 43. Tomorrow, beautiful day. Sunny skies, high of 77, winds out of the east-southeast at about 10 miles an hour. Gusts as high as 21 miles an hour. By Friday night, looks like some clouds are going to be rolling into the valley, expecting a low of 48. And then by Saturday, we do have a slight chance of afternoon rain, showers, and thunderstorms. Partly sunny sky with a high of 64. Wind gusts as high as 22 miles an hour. Then for Sunday, 40% chance of showers, mostly cloudy, and a high of 60. That's a look at your weather forecast for Zebeth.
And thank you very much. Brought to you this hour by our friends at Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane and Company. Accounting services to the Mini-Cash area, like I said, for over 50 years. They are the best at what they do, and they want to serve you. Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane and Company. Rita, moving on to another story that I wanted to touch on just for a moment, and that would be, of course, our border situation. I was listening to some of the stories this morning that were basically overshadowed by the releasing of the Mueller report, etc. But one of the stories I heard at about 4 a.m. this morning is that we're being overrun. There's no way we can handle the numbers, and many of these illegal aliens are literally grabbing children that are not theirs, and they're gaining access to the United States. Once here, they can drop the kids and they can go anywhere. And we're in a mess. I just don't understand why the American public isn't understanding this and absolutely saying we're being invaded. 500,000 more caravanners and illegal aliens are expected to jump our borders. Man, that's scary to me.
Well, it is. They reported yesterday that the El Paso sector agents apprehended more than 1,800 migrants who illegally crossed the border Tuesday.
Yeah.
Just in one day.
Yeah.
1,800 in one place.
But these Border Patrol agents, and I said this yesterday on the program, I don't know what is the matter with us that we can't understand that they're being overworked, overwrought. They're being subjected to beatings. They're being subjected possibly to somebody shooting them. They're being subjected to somebody hitting them in the head with a rock. They're being subjected to diseases that are being brought in. I don't know what they get paid, but it's not even close to what they deserve.
Well, it really isn't, and I think that if you were to actually take a poll of everybody in America, you'd find out that about 85 to 90% of Americans think that it is out of control and it's bad, and they don't know what to do with it. It's our law people, our Congress and our Senate that won't pay attention to it. They could get it under control real quick if they wanted to, and they have no desire to do that because of the money that's coming into them through various places, the Chamber of Commerce, the National Chamber of Commerce being one of the big ones, saying this is what we have to have for businesses. But it's really sad.
Well, it's not only sad, it's absolutely devastating. I had a little story that was handed to me this morning really early from a good friend of mine back in Washington, D.C., that the Department of Housing and Urban Development is proposing a new rule that further prevents illegal aliens from taking advantage of public housing, and they've been finding out that families are caught gaming the system by allowing illegal immigrants to stay with them, and they're not complying with the new rules, and they've got to tighten this down because they're getting money for housing illegally.
Well, and you'll find that with many different agencies and organizations that pass out all the free stuff. That's one of the reasons that they're here. The other one is that they're not being stopped, and they're going to be the ones who will work cheaper. And I mean, there's just numbers of issues of why they would come. But the biggest one is that we're not keeping them from getting in here without the proper paperwork and stuff.
Absolutely. Any final thoughts as we look forward to more from the Mueller report and the Attorney General Barr? Any final thoughts before we leave this morning? I got about 30 seconds.
Yes, I actually have a little thing I want to read to you, and this is a post thing from last week when we were talking about TV. So, me behave? Seriously? As a child, I saw Tarzan almost naked, Cinderella arrived home after midnight, Pinocchio told lies, Aladdin was a thief, Batman drove over 200 miles an hour, Snow White lived in a house with 7 men, Popeye smoked a pipe and had tattoos, Pac-Man ran around to digital music while eating pills that enhanced his performance, and Shaggy and Scoopy were mystery-solving hippies that always had the munchies. The fault is not mine. If you had this childhood, then we're probably happy together.
I'd like to have a copy of that. Rita Ramsey, God bless you. Have a wonderful Easter weekend with your family.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Oh, my. We're going to appreciate Rita every Thursday right here on Zeb at the Ranch. I got to hurry and tell you this. If you're hungry and starving to death, I know where you can go. I've got some great places like the AC Drive-In at 601 East Main in Burley. Oh, the mint Oreo shakes. Maybe have that with a fish sandwich with fries or a famous Farmer Brown burger, my favorite right there. At the AC Drive-In 601 East Main, they got a lot of goodies on their menu. You stop in and see them today. The AC Drive-In on East Main in Burley. Well, how about Taco Bandito at 2301 Overland in Burley? One of the best doggone places to go for your morning coffee, and then maybe team it up with a breakfast burrito, scrambled eggs, bacon and sausage, cheese, onions, tomato sauce on a tortilla shell. Woo! Knock your boots off delicious. All the food is at Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley. Well, don't forget, there's another couple of locations, Burgers, etc. 2 locations, 124 South Oneida in Rupert and 700 Overland in Burley. And you can get a fish sandwich combo after 3 p.m. for just $5.99. Whoa! Great people, nice people, all different great items on the menu. And don't forget to stop in. 2 locations serving you and your hunger at Burgers, etc. in Rupert and Burley. And last but not least, let's not forget Steve-O's. 290 South, 600 West of Hayburn. Oh, with the warmer weather coming on, don't forget they're going to open that patio. They're scheduled to open it on May 1st. Delicious buffalo burgers and the cheesy broccoli spuds and all the cupcakes and the great people. It's all there at Steve-O's. 290 South, 600 West of Hayburn. Food made the way you love it. And those are just a few great places to go when you're hungry and starving to death. Quick reminder, Lunch Bunch today, and it's at Denny 611 North Overland in Burley, and Doug Martin is going to give away a gift certificate to the person who brings the most guests with them today. Okay? So come on down. Look forward to seeing you at 11:30. We're going to turn this back over to the CBS News. They can come in and mess up everything we put together. We'll be back in about 6 minutes. Oh, So here we go, hour number 3 on this Thursday. Zeb at the Ranch, and I'm Zeb Bell, and over at the main studio, my buddy Wheels running the board. Thank you very much. Zeb at the Ranch brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you with a great big spring tire sale going on right now. And also, we'd like to say thank you to some of our great advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Want to remind you about our dear friends, and they've been with us for a long time, and I really appreciate Dino's Septic Service. And you know, we needed their help a couple of years ago, and they were right here. I mean, right here with fast, fair, friendly service, and got the job done. They do the jobs that you and I don't want to do. Septic tank pumping and liquid waste removal, sewer and sink drain lines cleaned, and of course they can install water and sewer lines, backhoe service, all of this and more, and they've recently expanded their business to better serve more people. Dino Septic Service, the numbers to call, 436-6526, or in Burley, 678-1638. Remember, with the big truck that says smells cargo on the way, Dino's Septic Service. And also, before we go to our next segment, I want to remind everybody about Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox, of course. And you better check out a whole home comfort system. Don't forget, with Lennox and Ramsey, they're offering up to $1,700 in rebates on a new system. Or you can ask about their low monthly payment financing options. Ramsey Heating and Electric at 678-0459. And don't forget, terms and conditions apply. See dealer for details. Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox, 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Right now, it's time for a segment that has really gone on for a long time with excellent people, and that's, of course, Cassia County School Days. And Cassia County School Days is brought to you by A Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley. And they've got all the spring clothing. I know that you probably want the warm clothes, but now it's time to think spring and dress spring. And they've got all the spring clothing over there, and they've got all the small ones' needs, you know, the furniture and the clothing, and they've got all the games, the puzzles, and the toys, and all the great clothing for dress up on Easter Sunday. You still got time. Get in there at 1308 Overland in Burley. And if you choose an egg at the register, and you'll find out whether you get special savings or not on your purchases. Check it out at A Child's World, 1308 Overland in Burley. On the program this morning, we have the Burley Junior High principal, and his name is Steve Kopman. Good morning, Steve. How are you?
Good morning, Zeb. Doing great.
Well, junior high principal, that means that you're working with kids, what, about ages 12, 11 to 14? What's the age bracket there?
About that, 12 to 14. Some of them are close to 15, but 12 to 14 typically.
Okay, do you have all your hair?
Yes, I do. I love these folks.
You know,
30 of my closest friends.
Oh, my goodness. I love your attitude. I understand Debbie Critchfield sent me a note and said that recently you had an event called Reality Town. What in the world is Reality Town?
Oh, Reality Town was awesome. It's a program. We actually got a grant to run the program, and I take a little credit for it, but 99% of the credit goes to my counselor, Lisa Castaneda and Danica. They put it together, but what happens is we send in some data from our students, grade data, and every student in the school gets a custom booklet back, and that booklet tells them what their job is and what their salary is. There's things like health insurance and car insurance, and it's Reality Town. It's based on what their reality would be if they made this certain income. Some students were farm workers, and some students were like astrophysicists, anywhere from like $25,000 a year to $100,000 a year. And then we had booths set up, and I need to put a big thank you out to the community. We had 42 people from the community step up and come help us with this. Bankers and insurance people, real estate people, general parents that wanted to help out. We had an overwhelming response from the parents, but the kids, every kid got a book, and they went over it in their math class. We taught them how to write checks. We taught them how to balance a checkbook. And then we went in and did the simulation in the gym. We had 2 groups of kids, about 150 per group. And they just went from station to station. I believe there was 21 stations. And you could buy a car. You could put some money in savings. There was an investment person there. And then there were certain things on their card that would say they need to go to kind of take a chance with Monopoly. You'd pull a card and it'd say, your son broke his leg, you have to go to the doctor. Well, if you had health insurance, your bill was a certain amount, and if you didn't have health insurance, it was significantly more. And car insurance, the same way. They had options of which houses to buy. It was just a great simulation, overwhelming positive feedback from the kids, and amazing feedback from the community members that were a part of this.
You know, Steve, I don't think you're giving yourself or your staff enough credit, because it's about time. It's past time, and I've railed on this for years on this program, that educators, school systems do not do enough, if anything, to teach kids about real life, everyday real life.
I agree 100%. And if you're available, we'd like to have you come next time just to hear some of the interactions with the kids. I was out there for both of them, and kids coming up saying, man, kids are expensive, acting like they're the adults with the reality. And how do you do that? And some of them were in situations where they were a single mom with 2 kids or a single dad with 1 kid. Some of them got child support. Some of them did get child support. It was a true, real experience for these folks. One of the most interesting things was I walked across the gym, and there was one girl laying on her belly, kind of with her face on the gym floor, just laying there. And I said, hey, kiddo, what's going on? She says, this is so hard. And the kids really got into it. That was one of my concerns. Sometimes an 8th grade group, if they think it's great, it's pretty good. And if they don't think it's great, then it's kind of an issue. Our kids loved it, and we were already planning next year. Most of the people that helped us this year asked us to sign them up to come back again next year to be helpers. So
okay,
we've got it in the process already.
Let me ask you, Steve, just so that I understand the schematic of this and how it was set up. And if I'm wrong, please jump in and correct me. But you basically had kind of a town with all the basic amenities, the bank, the laundry, the dry cleaners, and everything right in there. So how did each person, each student, how did they know what to do, where to go, what they had to do?
So in their booklet, everybody had to visit the bank to start with. And we verified the amount of cash they had in their account to start with, which was 1 monthly paycheck. And they had some money in their savings. And they had all of those 20 different places. They had to get a signature from each place they went to. So when they went to buy a car, they'd get a signature, and they'd take that out of their register. They had a running register that they had to keep track of. And when they got done with all of that, we gave them, I think about an hour and 15 minutes, and that was not enough time. In junior high, there's kind of a magic number where things work really well, and you get past that minute mark, and it kind of goes haywire. So we thought we would rather have them run out of time than have too much time, but next year we'll give them a little more time. But we collected their books at the end, and then we did a debt analysis. Every math class worked with the kids, and it was so interactive to hear the kids talking about what they spent or what they shouldn't have spent. One of the options for living was you could live in your mom's basement for $200 a month. So some of the kids took that option, and because they didn't have enough money to make it, every kid had a little bit of savings in there. And it was very interesting to me as I looked at their books during the simulation. These kids, there was one spot where you could go for supplemental income and get an extra job. The majority of these kids were getting an extra job instead of dipping into their savings, which surprised me.
I would suggest, and I would throw this out on the table for discussion, that perhaps Reality Town should be extended to seniors in high school and freshmen in college.
We've talked about that. Debbie and I have had great conversations about, if nothing else, every 8th grader in the district should have this. My concern is some of these kids that had the lower paying jobs because they had lower grades, I wouldn't want a senior to think that they're doomed. Some of these kids took it pretty personal that, man, you mean I work at this spot and I'm making $28,000 a year and my buddy's making $80,000. I think in the 8th grade we're going to have a significant impact on them if they choose, that they can get their grades up, and hopefully we really worked on the correlation, and it's a loose correlation in some instances, but there's a fairly strong correlation between hard work and good grades and a decent job.
Yeah, but wait a minute. I want to jump in on you there, Steve. I really like the premise of making sure that some people had to realize a lower income job and there were others that had a higher income job. And it all relates back to, I think, the try method. You can be anything if you'll really discover the real you and try harder to become better and do more in life instead of just having it handed to you.
Absolutely, and that's my point exactly. If they don't like where they're at now, they still got 4 years to change that. You know, our kids are heading into high school where the grades really start to count for promotion and graduation and for whatever their post-high school stuff is. I'm a firm believer, obviously, that people need to go on to something post-secondary, but not everybody needs to go to a 4-year college.
Absolutely.
There's some kids out there that go to 2-year trade schools making $50,000, $60,000, $80,000 a year. I talked to one of our former graduates. He's making $85,000 a year right now, and he's had 18 months of training.
But there's the problem that I think with a concept like this, I would welcome coming to your program next year and just observing and maybe even doing some taping and visiting with you. This is the kind of concept that is missing in education in general because we're turning these kids, and it's not the kids' fault. We're turning these kids out after maybe high school, or maybe they've made a really bad mistake and thinking that they're going to do something in college and make a career out of basket weaving or pottery. And let's face it, why spend $100,000 and run up big bills on educational costs when maybe you should consider, hey, I'd like to be an electrician, or hey, maybe I'd like to be a plumber. All these kind of things have been overlooked for years, and it's about high time we got our reality check, and these kids had options.
Absolutely, and it's funny you bring up plumber because one of the kids was a plumber, and we kind of joked about it and said that's kind of a crappy deal, but they're making, I think it was like $62,000 a year as a plumber in reality town.
Minimum.
The world needs plumbers.
Absolutely.
Electricians. We need all types of stuff. And I'm with you, again, 100%. Nothing worse than trying to convince a kid to do something he don't want to do and wasting money on it.
Well, you know, Steve, another thing, too, is that there's two words that need to go and be appropriated into this concept, and that's a work ethic. How do we reinstill the work ethic?
If you could write a book on that, you'd be a millionaire.
I'll start tomorrow.
Yeah, and I'll co-author with you.
No, and I'm not trying to be funny, but the work ethic is something that has been taken away. It hasn't diminished on its own. It's been taken away from our society because of the way society is. Oh, we can't have little Johnny doing chores. Well, that's almost child abuse. Bunk, baloney, and you know what else. We've got to instill a work ethic that will carry on after school.
I agree. And just as grades are correlated to productivity and income, work ethic is more closely tied to that. You get a kid with high work ethic, you got a kid that's going to be successful almost every time.
Absolutely. Well, you know, how did you do all this in one day?
Well, it was about a month building up to it, and then, like I said, we met with the math department, took over some of the pre-stuff, and then we did the debt analysis post-stuff. But we're going to have to lengthen it out because our kids they were into it. The first group was so mad that they didn't get to finish it, but we had to get the second group in. So, yeah, it couldn't have been any better on student participation and interest, and I think bang for the buck.
You know, I could see where this could be a week-long program, Reality Town Week. And what about the possibility of having them face reality of being fired from a job, and then what?
That could be the next step. You know, lack of work ethic causes that to happen.
Yeah.
You know, it's the way that they bought into the cars that they were buying and the houses they were buying. Most of the kids were fairly fiscally frugal, and it just surprised me. You would expect them to just kind of play with it. Oh, I'm going to buy this expensive car and this big house, but very few did that. There was one kiddo, his monthly income was like $2,100 a month, and he had $1,800 a month house payment. And so he and I had a little fireside chat. We went back to the housing people, and he took it seriously. He just thought he needed this nice house. I said, what about your food? What about your car? What about your insurance? And that was a teachable moment, and you just hope it sticks in their head. You know, the stuff that we do, We know that if you're out there doing things, you remember it better.
Yeah, but I'll tell you something.
Class forever, but you go out and do this activity, you're more likely to remember it.
Yeah, but Steve, your program and your concept of this reality town, I don't think there is a banker or anyone in that line of work that would sit down and not tell you, hey, please, when I get these people coming in and they want a new boat, they want a new car, they want to have money for vacations over to the Bahamas, they want a brand new house, and they haven't got the means to pay for it. Reality town is something that should be applicable to almost anybody at any age.
Absolutely. And the other thing with Reality Town, there's no such thing as a credit card.
Oh.
They couldn't go out and do credit card stuff because I think, well, you know, these people get these credit card offers all the time, and before they're 25 years old, they're $30,000 in debt on this stinking credit card.
Well, all I can say is I wished I wasn't out of time. I mean, I could talk to you about this for another half hour at least. But the concepts of what you're doing, I don't know how much they pay you, but I'll tell you what, you ought to ask for a raise. This is a great concept, and I think it's something that really should be expanded upon.
Well, and I appreciate that raise, but I'd put it right out to my people because they did a most awesome job running that. It couldn't have been better for our first year.
Well, let me tell you something that, and I don't say this very often because I'm so strict on my time commitments, but anything I could ever do to help you on this next year, please call me and let me know.
Well, expect an invite because we would love to have you here. It's an amazing experience.
Well, Burley Junior High principal, Steve Kaufman, I salute you, sir, for your effort for the real world and what's going on. Thank you for being such an excellent teacher.
Right on. I appreciate you letting us spread the word.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. Wow. Now, that inspires me. That inspires me that right here in this area, I get so doggone upset when I hear people criticize education and say, oh, this, that, and the other, it's not good enough. There's an example right there of what these kids need. It's called Reality Town, and I salute these folks. Excellent job. Brought to you by A Child's World, 1308 Overland in Burley. And they've got all the clothing and, like I said, the games, the puzzles, the toys, the Cherokee scrubs. They've got it all. It's a family store, and they welcome you to come on in. A Child's World, 1308 Overland in Burley, bringing you Cassia County School Days. Wow, that got me excited. I'm really tickled to have them on the air. Let's see, what else have I got cooking here? I think we've got that taken care of. Real quick, I want to remind you again about our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox. Don't forget, schedule a tune-up for your whole home comfort system, or if you're in the market for a new one, a Lennox home comfort system, check it out at Ramsey Heating and Electric. They're offering up to $1,700 in rebates on a new Lennox system. Check it out. Call them 678-0459. Terms and conditions apply. See the dealer for details. Ramsey Heating and Electric, excuse me, at 2600 Overland in Burley, along with Lennox. Wow, let's go to the phone line right now, and we haven't had a chance to talk to this guy for a couple of weeks. He's been, I think, over on the French Riviera basking in the sun or something. I can't remember. Hello, Jeff at Lee's Furniture, Floors and More. How are you?
Hey, Zeb, I'm doing good. How are you this morning?
Well, have you still got your swimming trunks on, or where have you been?
I'm still around. Hey, I'm down here at the store, and I'm hanging out for guys like you to come in and visit.
You know, I got to compliment you that you really have some great things going on at Lee's Furniture, Floors and More. And LeGrand called me the other day, and he sent over a great big spring clearance event. This is unbelievable. Tell us what's going on.
Yeah, what we're doing, we've gone out to the warehouse, and we've basically emptied our warehouse of everything that was out there, which primarily consisted of floor covering and mattresses. So for the individual who is looking for an opportunity to buy a new and a great mattress, we have all of our beds, all of them are at least half off. We've emptied everything out. This consists of twin size, full size, queen size, king size, everything that we had left out there. We're basically closing out all of our previous model mattresses. There's no problem with them, but you can get these with significant discounts because we're just emptying them out and blowing them out.
Oh, my goodness. Well, that's great for a night's sleep, but what about walking on the floors? You got a flooring closeout, too.
Yeah, so that's actually a combination of two things, Zeb. We've just received a number of new shipments of the hard surface, the luxury vinyl plank, and also carpet. But we basically went out to the warehouse, took everything that was out there that maybe were part rolls or closeouts, carpets we couldn't get back in. We've brought them into the store, and they have significant discounts. And in addition to that, the hard surface flooring, we are offering, in addition to the discounts that we've got, contractor discounts right now, an additional 10% off on those products right now until these extra pallets, this extra flooring that we've ordered in is gone.
Oh, my goodness, and all the carpeting. And then I understand that you'll provide a free pad upgrade on any carpet purchase. Is that right?
That's right. Any carpet purchase, when you purchase that with pad, you can upgrade to the very next pad at no charge. And this includes our remnants, our closeout carpets, our special pricing. So you can get the best pad, you can get the best carpet, and get it for a fraction of the price.
Holy smokes, your warehouse, you just kind of opened the door and you said, okay, here's what we're going to do. All these quantities that are in the warehouse, once they're gone, it's all over.
Yeah, so everything that we had out there that wasn't sold, we've brought in, and anyway, we're closing it out. And Zeb, just a quick little note as well. This time of year, people are oftentimes doing spring cleaning, they're refreshing their home, or there's many people out there who are building homes or considering having their homes built. Come into the store, take a look at our specials. We have specials on products that we can order in as well, so the selection is good as if you want to custom order. But that contractor pricing, you can get those additional discounts on those products right now, and that's a great time to save, especially if you are building a home or considering remodeling your home, because that involves not only the luxury vinyl plank, the carpet, but also laminate flooring, vinyl, and tile.
You know, the one thing that a lot of people probably don't realize is that you have a staff there that if you're thinking about remodeling or redecorating or everything, they are experts at really thinking what might look the best.
Yeah, they are. They can help with window covering. They can help with furniture, color, design, decorating. We have them available here in the store. They're fantastic help. And so we invite customers to come in and try us out, take a look, kick the tires, and see what we've got. But we have the biggest and best selection in stock in the area, and we have the best prices, and we have our 110% price guarantee, which means if you're lucky enough to find a lower price, we'll match it plus 10% of the difference. We won't be undersold.
Holy smokes. I mean, this gentleman and his staff are phenomenal at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland in Burley. Good to have you back, and now I suppose you're going to be at all the track meets, huh?
Well, we'll try to make it to a few so I can come watch you run.
Watch me run? Boy, that'd be something. That'd be earth-shattering news right there, I'll tell you. Listen, Jeff, we appreciate you. Have a great day and a great Easter weekend. Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. Thank you.
Thank you, Zeb.
All right, take care. Yeah, watch me run. That'd take a while, I'll tell you that. I want to remind you, too, let's see, we'll hit this one more time this morning, that this Saturday, from 4 to 6 p.m. at the Rupert Senior Center at 702 11th Street in Rupert, the benefit dinner for J.R. Strunk. And as we have stated many times, J.R. has done so much for so many other activities and other people. Well, this benefit dinner is for J.R. Strunk. He's been diagnosed with cancer, and we want to wish him the best and help him. And the dinner from 4 to 6, and then all the drawings and all the raffles, my goodness, you better get on over there. And it's going to be this Saturday at the Rupert Senior Center from 4 to 6. Don't you miss it. Right now, we're going to send it back over to my old buddy Wheels, and we'll be back in just a couple of minutes.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
Thank you very much, and we're on the home stretch for this day and this week. And I want to remind you that next week, don't forget the Minnecasia Chamber of Commerce Women's Expo. Next week on April 24th at the Burley Best Western Western Inn and Convention Center. Going to start at 9 in the morning, go till 4 in the afternoon. Hidden gems, explore, engage, and empower. Hey, gals, get a babysitter. Tell the husband he can do the babysitting. You be there at this Women's Expo at, of course, the Best Western, Burley Best Western Inn and Convention Center. Tickets are only $20, which includes lunch, and they would like to thank the main sponsors: Idaho Central Credit Union, Intermountain Cassia Regional Hospital, Wright Physical Therapy, and Tailored Living. That's coming up next week on Wednesday on the 24th. This is Easter weekend, and I'm going to take a few moments here to get a little personal about my thoughts about Easter weekend. I have asked over the many months for pastors and ministers to be a part of this program, and I've heard nothing except from one pastor. And that was Reverend Paul Thompson from the Eastside Baptist Church in Twin Falls. And I thank him very much. I've asked others to be a part, and I wanted to have a pastor or other pastors be a part of the program here this morning. They did not respond. Easter is a very, very special day and observance for Christians all over the world. And starting, of course, with the Jesus riding into Jerusalem on a donkey last week on Palm Sunday, and then the events that led up to his crucifixion and his resurrection. And this weekend is very, very solemn and very important to me and my family, as it has been for many, many years. Today, the observance of Maundy Thursday, the Last Supper, with the disciples, having that meal with Jesus, and basically Jesus knowing and recognizing the traitor in his midst, Judas. The traitor in the midst, giving Jesus over to the Roman soldiers for 30 pieces of silver. And then continuing on into Good Friday, with the deplorable acts of the people against Jesus and asking for Barabbas' life to be spared and Jesus to be crucified. And the following of Jesus carrying that cross on his back until he finally fell and couldn't stand the weight and the burden and was helped up to Golgotha. And they put that wooden cross in the ground after they had nailed him to the cross, along with two others. The depictions of what happened to Jesus being nailed to that cross are gruesome. Gruesome. The heavy spikes being pounded into the hands, and then, of course, the feet, one overlapped the other, and a longer spike going through both feet into the base of that cross. And then stood up with a thud into a hole and left hanging there until he died. This whole Easter weekend is one that we all need to be very thankful for as Christians. Because then, on Easter morning, the resurrection of Jesus, the rock was rolled away, and an angel sitting in the tomb said, "He's not here. He is risen. He rose to save us. He is risen," and we say Happy Easter to all of you and your families. Very special time. I know that my family, we observed every year all the different observances and church services leading up to Easter Sunday, and then, of course, it was always tradition with my family to get up early in the morning and go to a sunrise service, of which we still carry on that tradition with Deanne and myself now, even after the kids are gone. And then, of course, Easter breakfast and the observance of Easter in its entirety. From Deanne and I to you and your family, we wish you a very happy Easter with your family. And if the kids are home and you're having a chance to sit around the table together, enjoy a great meal, we just hope it's one of the best days you've ever had in a long, long time. But remember the meaning of the day and the Holy Week. And that's the resurrection of Jesus. It's not the candy. It's not the chocolate bunnies. It's not the Easter egg hunts as a commercialization of the day. It's the resurrection of Jesus. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I think right now I'm going to have a weather forecast, and we'll take time for a couple of calls, and then we're going to head for lunch bunch. Our weather brought to you this hour by Scarro's Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. The number to call, 324-7657. And, of course, you can go to their website, scarrosmeats.com. All the delicious meats, excuse me for the frog in my throat, all the tri-tips and the marinated pork ribs, and I tell you, all the different bacons. Oh, my goodness, delicious bacons and breakfast sausages, bratwurst, the list goes on and on. All of this from Scarro's Meats, 331 North Road in Jerome. And right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Going to be a nice day for today and tomorrow. By the weekend, a little bit wet. Here's a look at your weather forecast. Sunny skies is what we're expecting. Slightly breezy winds out of the southwest at about 5 miles an hour. Expecting a high of 66. Tonight, mostly clear. Still a little bit breezy with a low 43. Tomorrow, beautiful day. Sunny skies, high of 77. Winds out of the east-southeast at about 10 miles an hour. Gusts as high as 21 miles an hour. By Friday night, looks like some clouds are going to be rolling into the valley. Expecting a low of 48. And then by Saturday, we do have a slight chance of afternoon rain, showers, and thunderstorms. Partly sunny sky with a high of 64. Wind gusts as high as 22 miles an hour. Then for Sunday, 40% chance of showers, mostly cloudy, and a high of 60. That's a look at your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
Thank you very much, Gina, and brought to you again by Don Scarrow and the crew at Scarrow's Meats. Boy, I tell you, delicious meats. 331 North Road, Jerome. Number to call again, 324-7657. They are changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time. Well, I'll tell you, Easter week, and that means we're right in the middle of our springtime, and we've got a lot of family things going on this weekend. I know you do too. Next week on the program, we're going to have Richard Manning, and we're going to have Maria Espinoza talking about the severity of the border crisis, Vicky's Country Garden, all kinds of things on our program for next Monday morning. And again, I feel very bad that especially for today as a wrap-up of our program for the work week, and of course leading into Easter weekend, that none of the pastors or ministers could be a part of our program. They are welcome to call me at any time at 312-2976, and I'll repeat that number again in case they don't have a pen, 312-2976. As of yet, it's been crickets. Haven't heard a word. Want to remind you, too, about our major sponsor, and that's, of course, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you with the best of a huge, I mean really big, spring tire sale. And that's going on at all 7 locations. Many, many, many tires on sale for your cars, your pickups, your SUVs, horse trailers, boat trailers. Tires like the Ultra Z900, ooh-wee, up to an 80,000-mile warranty. And also tires like for your pickups and SUVs, the Open Country HT, quiet, smooth-running, smooth ride tire. And don't forget, along with that, the best in brake service, front-end alignments. And boy, that's important right now after driving through the potholes all winter. And, of course, shocks and struts and batteries, all of this and more at all 7 locations. Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and my buddy Randy on Overland in Burley. None better. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Big spring tire sale right now. We're going to go to Lunch Bunch. And again, I want to say thank you to all of our Lunch Bunch gift certificate donors, and they include Walmart, Smith's Foods, Hanson Mortuary, Stokes Groceries, Doug Martin, and Doug's given a special gift certificate to anybody that brings the most people to Lunch Bunch today. And also Denny's. Thank you very much for all of that. And we start at 11:30, so everybody try to be there. My itty-bitty buddy over there at the studio, Wheels, I understand your dad is home for the weekend, and I hope that you just have yourself a great family weekend.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate that, and I know we said Happy Easter to each other this morning, and I guess all I really hope for is that everybody stays safe, especially if they're traveling, and that everybody just enjoys their time with their family and understands the true meaning of Easter.
Well said, my young friend, and you've done an outstanding job for us, and we appreciate you. And I know that you're going to fill in for me a few minutes so I can jump in the old hot rod or whatever and head down Highway 30, and we thank you much for filling in. I know you're not going to be at Lunch Bunch today because you got family obligations, but please know that you'll be missed, and we'll look forward to the next time.
That sounds great, sir. I'm looking forward to it.
All right. We always end the program by saying the way things were are the way things ought to be, and the world needs more cowboys. Enjoy Easter. Enjoy your family. We will see you next Monday at 8:06. Wheels, take it away.